Let me break the illusion right now. The more you try to please her, the less she respects you. You think being nice, bending over backwards, and always saying yes will win her heart. But deep down, she's losing interest. Not because you're not enough, but because you're abandoning the very thing that makes you a man. Masculinity isn't about control. It's about core, about being grounded, decisive, and unshakable. But the moment you sacrifice your values, your mission, and your backbone just to make a woman happy, you're not loving her. You're losing yourself. And whether she says it or not, she can feel it. She doesn't want a puppet. She wants a man with a spine. If you want her love and your self-respect, then listen closely. This might be the most important thing you ever hear. Pleasing her over yourself creates silent resentment on both sides. You think you're doing the right thing. You listen to her, agree with her, go out of your way for her. You cancel plans, shrink your dreams, change your tone. You tell yourself this is love. Hi. But deep inside, a part of you feels small, weak, invisible. And whether you admit it or not, that quiet discomfort is resentment, and it's growing. Here's what most men never realize. When you constantly suppress your needs to satisfy hers, you're not being kind. You're being compliant. And compliance without boundaries is the slow death of desire. You stop being a partner. You become a servant, a shell of yourself, performing for approval instead of standing in your truth. Oh, and women, they feel that, even if they can't put it into words. She feels the weight of being the emotional center of your universe. She sees you folding, apologizing for who you are, and she slowly loses the very thing that attracted her to you in the first place, your power. That imbalance creates a psychological split. On the surface, she might say, you're sweet, but underneath, she's pulling away. Not because you're bad, but because you've lost you. Psychologically, this is known as self-abandonment for validation. You're chasing approval by sacrificing authenticity. And the moment your truth takes a back seat to her comfort, the relationship becomes fake, forced, fragile. Real masculine energy is not about being cold. It's about having clarity, knowing your values, protecting your inner world. It's about saying no when something crosses your line and yes when it aligns with your truth. That kind of strength doesn't repel women. It draws them in. Because women don't want a man who agrees with everything. They want a man who means what he says and lives what he believes. So stop shrinking to keep the peace. Stop pleasing to be liked. You're not here to be a nice guy. You're here to be a whole man. Because when you honor your own boundaries, she finally feels safe to lean into you, not because she controls you, but because she trusts your strength. That's not selfish. That's not toxic. That's masculine. And that's what keeps both love and respect alive. The masculine core thrives on purpose, not permission. If you want to be the kind of man she chases, the kind of man she respects, then burn this into your mind. Your life must be led by purpose, not by seeking her permission. A man without a mission becomes a man without meaning. And a man without meaning becomes easy to control, easy to discard, and impossible to admire. Most men today are lost in the storm of validation. They shapeshift to fit in. They wait for her approval before making a move. They silence their ambition just to avoid tension in the relationship. And then they wonder why they feel hollow, why they're exhausted, why she's distant. Let me tell you why. Because she doesn't want to be your compass. She wants to witness your direction. She doesn't want to be the center of your world. She wants to orbit around a man who already has a world worth entering. Psychologically, this is called purpose orientation, and it's a cornerstone of masculine identity. Men who lead with purpose exude confidence without trying. They don't chase attention, they attract it. Because when you're locked into your mission, whether it's building a business, leading a vision, mastering your craft, you radiate something far more powerful than looks or money, clarity. And clarity is magnetic. When a woman meets a man with vision, discipline, and direction, it activates a deep biological signal in her brain. This man can lead. This man can protect. This man isn't needy. He's anchored. That's the man she respects. That's the man she follows. That's the man she craves. But when you put her above your path, when you delay your purpose to prove your love, you slowly strip yourself of the very edge that makes you masculine. It's not about ignoring her. It's about not abandoning yourself for her. Because when your mission comes first, everything else falls into alignment. She sees a man who isn't trying to impress, but trying to impact. She feels your energy shift. She realizes you're not dependent on her love. You're driven by something deeper, something she can't control. And paradoxically, that's what makes her want you more. You don't become a high-value man by begging for approval. You become one by staying rooted in what sets your soul on fire. So ask yourself, do you wake up chasing her attention or chasing your greatness? The difference decides everything. Pleasing her won't keep her. Self-respect will. Let's kill the fantasy once and for all. You think if you just do everything right, buy her gifts, agree with everything she says, put your needs second, and be the nice guy, she'll stay. Wrong. In fact, the more you bend over backwards trying to keep her happy at the cost of your self-respect, the faster she loses attraction. Not because she's cruel, because you're no longer a man she can respect. Here's a truth most men are too afraid to accept. Women don't leave men who are rude. They leave men who are weak. When your world revolves around her, when you hesitate to speak up, when you walk on eggshells just to avoid conflict, she stops seeing you as a leader and starts seeing you as a follower. And no woman wants to date a follower. Psychologists call this self-abandonment, and it's one of the biggest relationship killers for men. Every time you say yes when you really mean no. Every time you hold back your truth just to keep her calm. Every time you suppress your instincts to make her feel powerful. You're not loving her. You're betraying yourself. And here's what happens when you do that long enough. She begins to test you. Not because she wants to destroy you, but because she needs to know you can stand your ground, that you still have a spine, that you still have standards, that you're not afraid of losing her in the name of keeping your self-respect. But if you keep folding, she won't test you anymore. She'll leave. Emotionally first, physically later. The harsh truth is this: women don't fall for men who chase approval. They fall for men who carry inner authority, men who know who they are and don't compromise that for anyone. The most attractive trait a man can have is this: I will not lose myself to keep you. Because a man who respects himself creates the space for her to respect him too. And in that space, real love can grow. Not out of fear, not out of people-pleasing, but out of two powerful individuals choosing each other from a place of strength, not sacrifice. So stop trying to make her happy every second of the day. Start making yourself whole. That's when you'll become the man she never wants to walk away from. Masculinity isn't toxic. Weakness, pretending to be masculinity, is. Modern society has done a dangerous thing. It has confused masculinity with aggression, dominance, and emotional detachment. And now men are afraid to be men. You're told to soften up. You're told to sit down. You're told that if you lead, you're controlling. That if you're assertive, you're toxic. That if you take charge, you're a threat. So you shrink. You silence your instincts. You deny your masculine nature just to be accepted by a culture that no longer understands what a real man looks like. But let me tell you the truth. Real masculinity is not dangerous. It's necessary. The danger lies in men who have been forced to suppress their natural strength, only for it to leak out later as passive aggression, insecurity, and broken relationships. A masculine man isn't someone who screams louder. He's someone who stands stronger. He's calm under pressure. He leads with wisdom, not control. He protects, provides, and creates stability, not chaos. And yes, he feels emotions, but he doesn't let emotions make him weak. He channels them into purpose, into direction, into power. And when you deny that force within you, when you think your worth is in becoming more agreeable, more emotional, more accommodating, You lose the fire that made you a man in the first place. Women don't fall in love with nice guys because they're nice. They fall in love with men who are grounded, strong, focused, and balanced in their masculine energy. So no, masculinity isn't the problem. The problem is the fear of owning it. The fear of being judged for it. The fear of losing someone because you dared to stand tall instead of shrinking to fit someone else's fragile comfort zone. Don't trade your edge for acceptance. Don't let the world make you feel guilty for being a man. Because when masculinity is owned, understood, and matured, it becomes not just attractive, it becomes irresistible. A man on his mission becomes magnetic. Let's face it, the moment you make a woman your whole world, your light dims. Not because she isn't worthy of love, not because she's not important, but because the second you place her above your purpose, you lose the very essence that made her attracted to you in the first place. Men weren't designed to orbit around women. Men were designed to move with vision, to lead with direction, to wake up every day with a burning sense of, I have work to do. Work on himself, work on his dreams, work on building something bigger than validation. You want her to respect you? Stop trying to earn it through gifts, constant texting, or abandoning your priorities to cater to her mood swings. You want her to chase you? Show her what discipline, focus, and ambition look like in real time. When you become a man on fire for something greater than attention, she won't just look at you, she'll watch you with awe. Because women aren't drawn to men who try to please them. They're drawn to men who please their purpose first. The man who keeps showing up even when he's tired. The man who holds his own even when emotions get messy. The man who knows where he's going, with or without her. If you've lost her interest, maybe it's because you lost your own edge. It's not about playing games or making her jealous. It's about becoming so locked in on your calling that she realizes she's either going to keep up or get left behind. That's when the tables turn. That's when she texts first. That's when she respects your time. That's when she starts chasing you. Not because you manipulated her, but because you reminded her of what a real man on a mission looks like. Never forget, purpose makes you powerful. And power, not approval, is what draws love to you and keeps it there.